payback. There's no way to bring that person back that gave the supreme sacrifice.
We see things in the movies and how Hollywood can recreate some things, but again, it's not like being there and seeing, your best friend dying in front of you. It was just real. We can't appreciate that.
We might not agree with the decisions or places that we need to be, but our soldiers are there doing it, so we support them.
I have friends, that I've lost in war, and you can never repay that. But I think taking time to reflect with our children and our grandchildren, spending time with them to talk about not so much the horror of war, but the results. The fact that we are free. And compare that to other parts of the world where men and women don't have the freedoms we do, and that they do have the freedom to strive for whatever they want to be someday, and that there is a cost for that.
They brought a guy back from Germany that was a pilot in World War II. He was 21 or 22, and this was in 2014 when they found him, when they brought him back here. And so you figure, he'd been dead 60 years, but they still brought him home.
In our world of enemies and bad people, there are people, genuine, hardworking people who are there to protect us. They put their life on the line. I think it's important for every American to recognize what our soldiers do for us overseas.
We owe them something. This is the least we can do for them as far as remembering.
It's really up to us now to make sure that courage and selflessness like that is not forgotten.
We need to put a stop to having to say, oh, I wish I would have only asked mom, or I wish I would have only asked grandma. We need to put a stop to that. We have the technology now to record people and to get these stories down.
Your average American, one who has never served and do not have a close relative who has served, has no idea what you had to go through.
Many of them come back a different person than they left. And you look them in the eye, you could tell there was something hurting inside them. We can have a place for them to reflect, and also that they know they're appreciated for what they do. They step away from their families, from their homes, and they go off to war. But then they take those skills, and so many of them have taken those skills and brought that back into the civilian world.
I've always been working with helicopters, and when I retired, I could take one apart and put it together. It taught me some things that I never forgot in my life.
I served in the military Navy Seabees for 22 and a half years, 2 combat tours in Vietnam, Cuban Missile Crisis. I was on a ship landing the Marines on Tripoli on Muammar Gaddafi.
I did 20 years in the Navy. I was a Navy chief. Gave me good ethics and good morals and growth as a person.
They are important if we as soldiers from those wars can pass down our experience.
I think I gained respect. That was the main thing that I gained from being a soldier. It teaches you
that no one wants to go to war. We have to continue to focus on that in our memorials and our history, that ultimately we want to be at peace.
This monument isn't a monument to war, a monument to conflict. It's a monument to the people.
When we talk about the Vietnam War, you're talking about a name. Their parents gave them that name, and that name is engraved on a permanent statue.
Each name represents a life lost for the preservation of the United States.
This is an indicator. This is the price of part of that freedom. You look at those names, don't look at them just as names.
The Vietnam Wall does connect all veterans from all wars.
Whether it was in Desert Storm, Afghanistan, combat theaters that are out there today, they're forever chained and linked together.
It's a common bond that we all have.
It's brought a bunch of brothers together.
You depend upon one another, and you are willing to honestly sacrifice your life for your fellow comrades.
This is the only memorial they're allowed to leave items at here in D.C. One of my favorite items is a pair of combat boots left by a Marine that wore those boots through 2 tours of duty in Iraq. And he left them with a note thanking the Marines that served during the Vietnam War.
It's very important for soldiers that are going into combat to realize their families will be taken care of and they will not be forgotten.
We all want the type of lifestyle that we have. They paid the price for that. They didn't get to enjoy it. I think everyone has that propensity to say, I need to pay my part.
you're a part of history, and people need to know. And that includes the generations yet to come.